Hello, and welcome back to another episode of I'm Free Now What with me, Michelle Fortier, a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Florida. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the work that I did in the prison system and how it can relate to how you can handle some of the more drama-prone people in your life. So, when I worked in corrections, I often So I would always pick the hard ones. I'd always pick the people on my caseload that were the cutters, the ones that declared psych emergencies all the time, the ones that tried to manipulate, lie, and all that other stuff. And the difference is so a lot of other providers and other prisons would just see them as manipulating. And so they would just basically blow them off until they couldn't not blow them off anymore. And then generally it had escalated to the point where outside hospital was necessary, or there was just a lot of unnecessary drama. And so the way that I looked at it is I didn't look at it as manipulation in terms of them doing something wrong or bad. The way that I viewed it was they're trying to get a need met that they cannot get met in a healthier way. And if we can figure out what the need is and teach how to get it done in a healthier way, then perhaps we can cut down on the self-harming, the psych emergencies, and the drama. So part of what I put together in the program that basically I put together, wasn't supposed to because I was just an MHP, but basically I knew what I was doing. So even like the head of the company was like, let her take the lead. So I took the lead. And one of the things that I did differently than other institutions is we didn't really do psych emergencies for anything but whether or not somebody was going to kill themselves. And what we gave our clients the option of was just simply asking their dorm officer if they could come and talk to us. So instead of that high level drama where everybody had to stop what they were doing and all this other stuff, and so that way this person could get their needs met, we then gave them another option that allowed them to get their needs met in a healthier way, where we didn't have to stop doing what we were doing to accommodate somebody. They had to sit out in the waiting room like a normal person. They didn't have to be handcuffed, all these different things. So we, in the program that I had put together, we allowed them, and what we call that was a walk-in. And so we allowed them to meet their need of having somebody to talk to problem solve in a way that was different than other institutions. And so we didn't have this big disruption, this big drama thing all the time. And that also allowed inmates not to escalate to the point of cutting themselves. And this is something that I just kind of intuitively knew, but then it turns out it's part of DBT. And I didn't really know that. And then when I found DBT as a intervention, I was like, oh shit, there's literature to back this up. And then I had also found some other literature to back it up. I have like a big manual about correctional mental health care. And so when I would get pushback from other people that thought that they knew what they were doing or they wanted to tell me what to do, I had the literature to back me up, which was great. And so in the literature, and people can use this with their self-harmers out in the community or people that cause a lot of drama. So typically people that exhibit these behaviors, they have learned that they work to get their needs met. And so what we need to do as people that want to be helpful to these individuals is help them get their needs met in a healthier way. Help them get their needs met and their voice heard without self-harming, without, causing scenes. If they ask quietly for help, give them that help. Don't make it that you're forced into a corner to do something for them. Make it where they're rewarded for behaviors that you want to see. And this is something that I often did when I worked in the prison system. And we also know that from DBT, where, we don't reward behaviors as providers that we don't want to see in our clients. So if our client self-harms by DBT, we're not supposed to be talking to them after they self-harmed as their primary provider, because we feel then that we're rewarding that behavior, as opposed to they needed to call us before they engaged in that self-harming, and that behavior is rewarded. You get extra time. And in the prison system, the way that they got, because attention is a big thing. A lot of these people, they feel voiceless. They don't feel like they're being heard. They feel like people have forgotten about them. They get in their feelings a whole lot. And a lot of the people that I worked with in the prison system would really meet the criteria for borderline personality. So what would happen is if I had somebody that didn't declare psych emergencies, they would get seen more often. So instead of seeing them, and really in DOC, we only had to see a client once every 60 days. So the fact that DOC proclaims that they have mental health care is some bullshit. So I would always try to see mine a whole lot more. And so if somebody had a history of declaring psych, or cutting, if they stopped cutting, I would see them once a week. Eventually, I'd be able to get them down to once every other week or once every month. But initially, if they did not cut, they got more services. If they chose to cut and not utilize services properly or learn from the services that they were receiving, they wouldn't get the attention that they wanted so much. And so this rewarded a behavior that I wanted to see, because I don't want people cutting themselves. I don't want people harming themselves just to have their voice heard. So for me, that's something that worked. That's something that worked in the Department of Corrections. That's something that the people that I supervised for the license, I really tried to instill in them. So that way we could get people to behave normal and instead of acting like inmates. Because a lot of this is very prison-based. When people get out of prison, a lot of them will stop these behaviors. But in prison, they have learned that the only way to get their environment to meet their needs is to act like an idiot by cutting themselves, carrying on, headbanging, threatening suicide, and all this other stuff. Attempted hangings, so that way they can talk to somebody. So basically, and I was very, very fortunate. I worked in an institution that worked very well with the mental health team. And so, because security doesn't really like psych emergencies either. So they would just tell them, hey, look, if you don't declare psych, I'm going to go tell your mental health person. I'm going to call down there and see if they can come talk to you. And because this was an agreement that we had with inmates, that if they asked to talk to us, we'd go down and talk to them. This cut down on us having to just disrupt our whole day and the people that were scheduled and we were actually seeing. So there was a lot of benefits to the way that we worked at our institution. And during the time that I was there 8 years. And during that time, I had not one suicide. Not one. I had a couple close calls, but not one completed suicide. And since I left, it hasn't been like that, unfortunately, which is really, really sad. And considering that the suicide rate keeps going up in the Florida Department of Corrections, and I had no suicides, you'd think that they might have listened to some of the things that I had to say. But who am I but just an MHP? So now I work out in the community where, the way that I want to practice is the way that I get to practice, and I don't have to deal with people that, want more power than actually doing the right thing. So anyway, so that's a little bit of a way that I did my job in the Department of Corrections that I found worked, and maybe other people that work in corrections might find that little bit of information helpful. And like I said, having that mentality out here as well with people that cause a lot of drama in your life, and you reward behaviors that you want to see, ignoring behaviors or punishing behaviors that you don't, in a way to make them behave in a way that's helpful and healthy for them, because that's our ultimate goal, is the people in our lives and the people that I work with. I want them to have a full life that they are happy with and they are proud of. And so if we can put these things in place to help encourage that, the world might be a better place. Any questions or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section below. If you like this video, found it helpful, please go ahead and share. And of course, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And any questions, concerns, leave them in the comments section below. And always, like always, I wish you continued freedom and good mental health. Take care.